Psalm 99. The Lord reigneth, let the people tremble. He sitteth between the cherubims, that the earth be moved. The Lord is great in Zion, and he is high above all the people. Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy. The king's strength also loveth the judgment. Thou dost establish equity. Thou executest judgment and righteousness in Jacob. Exalt the Lord our God, and worship at his footstool, for he is holy. Moses and Aaron are his priests, and Samuel among them that call upon his name. They call upon the Lord, and he answered them. He spake unto them in the cloudy pillar. They kept his testimonies, and the ordinance that he gave them. Thou answerest them, O Lamb of God. Thou wast a God that gavest to them. Though thou tookest vengeance of their inventions, exalt the Lord our God, and worship at his holy hill. The Lord our God is holy. Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations.
All right. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. And what I want to get into tonight, all right, dealing with a question dealing with Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, and pretty much wisdom, is personified as a woman, which that's often done in the scriptures. And we're going to go into why, wisdom is spoken of as a woman. Lord will, we can get, some understanding. So, what I want to start off with is go straight to Wisdom of Solomon. All right, chapter 8. All right, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. Let me see, make sure. All right, come. All right, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. It says, wisdom reaches from one end, all right, to another mightily and sweetly, though she order, all right, all things. And see, wisdom is ordering all things in the earth. See, the wisdom from Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, that's what's ordering everything that we see in the earth. And see, now what's happening is the wisdom, all right, has entered into the chosen people and getting them in order. That's why I say is this, because once we get in order, the Most High will establish us back in rulership, and we will get everything else in order. All right, that's why when you go to Psalms, which we get this all the time, when you go to the book of Psalms, chapter 50, Let's get that real quick. Psalms 50 and let's start around by 20. All right, this Psalms 50 and 20. Now this is speaking to Esau, Edom, the wicked. It says, "Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thy own mother's son." Because we know Esau, Edom, he's heavy, in campaigns against the children of Israel, mainly the men, but overall, he has put a horrible, stigma and reputation on the name, all right, and on the perception of the children of Israel, mainly through his media, his history, you know, movies and music, and a lot of our people have brought into it, but this man has spent a lot of energy and resources, slandering, all right, the nation of Israel. Verse 21, it said, "These things have I done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." And how we're being set in order? Through wisdom. Wisdom, that's what's putting us in order. True wisdom. This book is abundance of wisdom, understanding. You see, there's no other perspective like the perspective of the Bible. This is a very high form of wisdom that we're dealing with. This wisdom, all right, is going to rule an eternal kingdom, and we're, pretty much just scratching the surface of the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shai. Let's get there real quick. Since I said that, then we'll get back to wisdom solid. There's Romans 11, and the point should be around 30 something. All right, you get Romans 11. I started 32. It says, "For the Most High have concluded them all in belief, that he might have mercy upon all." It says, "Oh, the depth," this is the point. It says, "Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High, how unsearchable are his judgment and his ways past finding out." Because the wisdom of the Most High is infinite, and he has given a portion, all right, of their great wisdom to the nation of Israel. We lost it, but then now we're getting it back. And that's why scripture say we're gonna go from glory to glory, man. Because as we scratch the surface of the great wisdom, the abundance of wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shai, all right, it's going to lead into even more wisdom in the kingdom. You see, because there's so much, all right, that these bodies can't even hold. These minds, the way, the frequency that we own, it can't hold it. You see, but this is the beginning, of wisdom, and we have the portion that he gave us to know in these times. We know 100% of it, man, of the gospel pertaining to salvation. Now, let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon. Hold on. So when you go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, all right, reading it again. When you go to right, so let's go. Wisdom Solomon chapter 8, verse 1. It says, wisdom reaches from one end to another mightily and sweetly, though she order all things. And see, right now, wisdom is ordering, all right, the elect of Israel. I love her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty. Now, when you read it, as if it's speaking of a woman, but it's speaking of wisdom. The Greek word for wisdom, it goes into Sophia. You hear brothers mention Sophia, all right? And this is Solomon speaking because in his youth, I think Solomon was 19 or 20, when he began, all right, to rule, and he asked for wisdom. And we, all right, in the stead of Solomon, all right, as young in the faith, all right, we have fell in love with wisdom, man, because as we understand more and more about the scriptures, the law, understand, just the mind of Yahweh Shema Shai. It's a beautiful mindset, how the earth is going to be ran under the wisdom of Yahweh Shema Shai. It's going to be a beautiful thing, man. You see? But let's get there real quick. I think it's First Kings 3, just to prove that point, that account, dealing with Solomon. And like I said, we come in the same, stead as Solomon, man. Young men, all right. This is First Kings 3 and 5. It says, in Gideon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and the Most High said, ask what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with thee, and thou hast kept him thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is, all right, this day. And now, O Lord, my power, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father, and I am but a little child. You see, and that's spiritually what we were, man. What we are, little children, and we're being groomed and taught and nurtured by wisdom, because just like a mother, all right, would nurture a child, all right, because scriptures say, desire the what? The sincere milk and grow thereby. Well, that's how wisdom is nurturing us like a mother, which is what? A woman. And we're growing thereby. All right. I know not how to go out or to come in. All right. And verse 8 says, and thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people. They cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. It says, give therefore thy servant understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad, for who is able to judge this so great a people? So Solomon is a young man. And remember, Solomon he already, it wasn't like Solomon was broke. No, King David was wealthy, so Solomon already had, resources, but what did he desire? He desired wisdom, and he desired wisdom for the purpose of judgment. You see, he didn't desire wisdom just to be, this deep man in the earth, all right, to be looked at, this guru in the earth. No, he wanted judgment, all right, as it says, give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this so, all right, this thy so great people? Yeah, so he wanted wisdom for judgment. All right. You got Jake, and even some women, they got this spirit, they just want to be so deep so they can be seen. All right. And they covet wisdom. No, Solomon wanted wisdom for the purpose of judgment. This is why we're being groomed by wisdom for the purpose of judgment. It says, and the speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. Yeah. How about Shema Shai desires, the men of Israel to desire his wisdom. You see? So let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, verse 8, and read it again. 8 and 2. All right. And this is why wisdom is constantly referred to, as a woman, because the attributes of wisdom, it's like the attributes, all right, of a well-ordered woman. Now, this is Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 1. 8 and 2. So like Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 2. It says, I love her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty. Yeah, like I say, from thy youth. And even, let's just get a few more precepts. All right, dealing with their youth, man. Because even, let's just get there real quick in Matthew. I think it's Matthew 11 and 25. All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 25. It says, and at that time, Yahushua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things, all right, from the wise and prudent, and has revealed them unto babes. You see? Unto babes. All right? And the babes also goes to what? Insignificant, but also those who have been spiritually reborn. Because it even tells you that in Isaiah. Let's get that in Isaiah. What was it? Isaiah 20, 28, I believe. Isaiah 28 and let's start at 11. See if I yeah. All right. This is Isaiah 28 and 9. It says, whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk. You see that? And drawn from the breast. You see? Desiring essential milk so we can grow thereby. So those that have been born again in the spirit, all right, we're born and now we're nourished by what? Wisdom. You see, this is what's bringing us up. And we go from the milk and then we get, into the deeper, all right, aspects of wisdom, which is the meats. You see, we liken it to the meats, but we have to be what? Born again in the spirit to be nourished and brought up by wisdom, and then you grow in tune with wisdom and you make her your spouse, and this wisdom becomes everything. And how do you obtain wisdom? Verse 10, for precept must be upon precept. You see that? Precept on precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And that's how you get this understanding, man. It's a puzzle. This wisdom is a puzzle, all right? And the Lord has given the spirit on particular men to put the puzzle together. You see? And it makes perfect sense. So let's go back, and it's gonna go into that some more. Let's go back into all right, Wisdom Solomon 8 and 2 again. It says, I love her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty. And that she is conversant, you see that, with the Most High. She magnified her nobilities. What is nobility? High born. You see, in Israel, all right, is the nation, all right, of nobility, because the scriptures say, how the Lord intended us to be what? a royal priesthood. You see? So how we're magnified through wisdom. And it says, and that she is conversing with the Most High, she magnified her nobility. Yeah, the Lord of all things himself love her, for she is privy, it's the point, she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of the Most High and the lover of his works. Wait a minute. So let's get that. Because who else was privy, you know? Because Yahweh Shai pretty much embodies the wisdom of the Heavenly Father, you know? So she said she is privy, all right? This is this is I think St. John, yep. Get that in St. John. All right. 15, because what did Yahweh Shai say, to the disciples? All right. This is St. John 15 and 15. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. You see that? So Yahweh Shai, the things, that he heard privately of the Father, he made known to the disciples. All right? That wisdom, the wisdom being privy, but knowing the mystery of all things, and Yahweh Shai was constantly, breaking down the mysteries, man. Because he embodies, all right, the wisdom of the Heavenly Father. That's why when you go to Matthew, you go to Matthew 13 and I want to say 10. All right, this is Matthew 13 and 9. It said, who have ears to hear, let them hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. You see? So wisdom, all right, this is a private thing. This is not an all-inclusive thing. You see, and people can, someone can hang around and be a Mockingbird, and they can information grab, but it's gonna be something that they can't get. You see, wisdom is subtle too. It'll make it seem like you have her, but you don't. Hey, that's another attribute of a woman. You think she really, into you. You see, that you got her, but you really don't. And that's how wisdom would do. Because it's something that you're offended in. And wisdom gonna draw it out. It says he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them, all right, those on the outside, it is not given. Now, let's narrow down them a little bit. All right, let's narrow that down a little bit. When you go to, Sirach. Let's get Sirach 39 and 24. All right, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 24. It says, as his ways are plain unto the holy, all right, his wisdom, you see, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. Yeah, so the wicked, all right, beginning with Esau, Edom, these heathens, they threw, was influenced by the wicked Esau, Edom, and the wicked of our people. They can't, they can't get it. They stumble at something. You see, even if they get some of it, it'll be something that they stumble at, which caused them to throw the whole thing out, man, eventually. All right. But until the plain, all right, until the holy, they are plain. The elect, these things are plain. And that's why Yahweh Shai, he made this statement. When you go to let's get that in St. John. St. John. Yeah, 8. All right, St. John 8, and get straight to the point. All right, 47. What did Yahushua say? All right, this is St. John 8 and 47. It says, he that is of the Most High, hear the Most High's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because you are not of the Most High. All right. This thing is a private thing. Hey, because even though, we're not in the same room, physically, you see, but spiritually we are in the same room. It's like we're in a private room spiritually, because somebody can come on the comment board that ain't right, and everything that's being said to go over their head, the precepts, you brothers posting, it'll be going over their head, like they won't get it. They won't be able to pick up on it. You see? That's why a nigga will pop up, talking about, all right, Planet X or some crazy shit. All right, because he's not in the same spiritual room. It's a private setting, reading on. Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon 8, I was saying this is a heavy wisdom, that we came across, man. And this is it. All right. This is the way to exist is through this wisdom. Now, let's read verse 4 again. All right. Wisdom Solomon 8 and 4 says, for she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of the Most High and the love of his works. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things, man? Because everything, comes, all right, with wisdom. Everything comes with wisdom. See, wisdom goes before all things, as Solomon said in the 7th chapter. Because you can have resources, you can have military might, but if you don't have wisdom, pretty soon you're gonna dwindle away. And that's what we're seeing with Esau Edom. He's dwindling away. He had the fatness of the earth, he had the influence, he had the witchcraft, and he had all these things, but see, he didn't have the wisdom from on high. And this is why we're seeing this man, all right, dwindle away. He's dwindling away because of his behavior, his mindset, the philosophy that he runs the earth with. Wisdom comes before anything material. It's the wisdom to be able to manage those things, man, in righteousness. Because even it says that in Wisdom of Solomon, let's get to the 1st chapter. The 1st chapter. I want to say. All right. And listen what it said. This is Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 1. It says, love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. So this is speaking to rulers. Think of the Lord with a good heart, with a good mind, and in simplicity of heart seek him. You see that? In simplicity of heart seek Yahweh Shema Shai. So the rulers of the earth, all right, are supposed to think upon the Lord with a good heart, and in his simplicity of heart seek him. And see, that's how we're going to rule. We're going to rule in the energy of Yahweh B'Shem Shai and this wisdom. And it's going to be in simplicity. See, Esau Edom complicates everything. Here it is, this man put things, here it is, this man to try to clone a human, clone animals, But then he'll put things in the food that sterilizes women, you know, and brings men testosterone down. That's your cloning, you know? A man and a woman. Look, just take this simple analogy. A man and a woman, both of them, all right, have a responsibility towards each other that complement each other. All right. Then with that, there's a pleasure that comes with sex. And out of the sex, you make a duplicate, either another a girl, which is going to be a duplicate of her mother, or a son that's going to be a duplicate of his father. That's the cloning, and it's a great pleasure that come with it. You see? But Esau want his labs, and he want to splice the gene and take the DNA from a monkey, try to, just all over the place, man. No, it's simple. Like that's another thing that Esau tries to overcomplicate everything. No, it's simple. And it's a lot of other examples, but just to, put that out there. All right. But we're gonna rule, or it's gonna be great wisdom, and pretty much we're gonna simplify all these complications that Esau Edom, has pretty much pushed in the earth, man. All right. And just to show that Esau Edom has the exact opposite mind frame, I'm gonna read it again, and then we're gonna go to the mind frame of an Edomite. It says, "Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth, think, all right, of the Lord with a good heart, with a good mind, and in simplicity of heart, seek Him." You see, which is supposed to be a constantly, intaking the wisdom of Yahweh Shema Shai, you know. But let's go to the mind, all right. Let's go to the mindset of y'all uncle. All right. Uncle E. Let's Psalms. This is Psalm chapter 10. All right, let's get to the point. This is Psalm 10:3. It says, "For the wicked Esau Edom boasted of his heart's desire." And see, this is what we're seeing him boast of now, with his NWO, ambitions. All right. His agenda to forward, all right, his wicked empire. That's what he's doing. When you see Klaus Schwab, that guy, Dr. Evil, they're constantly talking about what they're going to do going forward, what they got planned for this year and that year, and by this year. He's boasting in his heart's desire, his mind desire. It says, "For the wicked boasted of his heart desire, and blessed the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts." You see that? This man will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. The scriptures say, ye that be judges of the Lord, all right, judges of the earth, seek ye the Lord, love the Lord with all thy heart, all right? And this man does the exact opposite. That's why we see this kingdom, all right, is becoming a shit show, all right, and is in shambles. This is a horrible. This kingdom is a horrible place to be, man. You see, and that's why we not taking nothing from this place. No type of the way people think, the way people are. No, nothing is going to transition, man. This is a horrible. All right, this is a horrible kingdom that's in rulership. A horrible way to run the kingdom, man. All right. It says, verse 5, it says, if riches be a possession to be desired in life, what is richer than wisdom, the work of all things? And if prudence, all right, work who of all there are is more cunning, all right? Uh, who so like who of all there are is a more cunning workman than she. You see, so it constantly refers to wisdom as what a she, a female. Because what's another attribute of a female is, like I said earlier, you can duplicate yourself, through a woman. Hey, because spiritually, let's get it. Because a woman is pretty much the highest possession that a man can have. Because like I said, you can actually duplicate yourself, you know, through women. All right, because if you're a king in this realm, well, who would you want to rule, within your provinces? All right, you will want another you, and through women, all right, you can get another you. So it's like the highest, form of possession, that you can have is wisdom, which is like to a woman. All right, now let's get there real quick because spiritually, you know, we have been duplicated by the wisdom of Yahweh Shema Shai. Let's get that in Sirach 24, which that goes heavy into wisdom. But we're just gonna touch on the latter end. All right. I'm gonna start about 31, I think. All right, so when you go to this is Sirach 24 and 29. It said, "For her thoughts are more than the sea," going back to her, which is wisdom, "and her counsels profounder than the great deep. I also came out as a brook from a ruler and as a conduit into a garden." You see? And that garden represents Israel. All right. It says, "I said I will water my best garden," which that's the elect of Israel. And we're being watered by what? Wisdom. All right. We're being brought up by wisdom. We're being nurtured by wisdom. "And I will water abundantly my garden bed, and lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea." What wisdom is spreading. And now we're constantly getting deeper and deeper into the wisdom, man. It's spreading and it's getting deeper, man, because not only are the bodies of water, becoming bigger, all right, you go from a brook, then to a river, then to a sea. Not only is it expanding, but it's getting deeper. You see? And it says, "I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off." All right. And how is this doctrine sent afar off? All right, through the internet, through the web. It says, "I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy." You see it? "And leave it to all ages forever. Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom." You know? And a lot of us, all right, have been birthed through wisdom, because that's another way. Just like a woman, you can, literally duplicate yourself with a woman, but wisdom, you can duplicate, yourself as well. Because Yahweh Shai, I say Yahweh Shai, he pretty much has duplicated himself amongst all these men in the earth from all walks of life, but we're all a version of Yahweh Shai. Hey, they're just like you can have a guy that knows all the equipment and work, the ins and outs of a job. Well, he can keep training people at the job and they know what he know. Well, that man has just duplicated himself. All right. The rap game talking about "I sons you. Well, if you groom a man in wisdom, like we've all been groomed from the apostles and elders, they was groomed from their elders. So we've been begotten in wisdom. And Yahushua, he spoke on that. Let's get it. All right. Yahushua. I think that's Matthew the 11th chapter. Matthew 11:19. All right. This is Matthew 11:19. It says, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a man gluttonous and a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of her children. All right. So what is Yahushua speaking on? Because they tried to sum Yahushua up as, a gluttonous, a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners, and they tried to make it that like that's all he was about. That summed up, who he was. No, and Jake be exaggerating. That's another thing too. Like Yahushua says, how they say, and how Jake is when you see there. They said you know, he been robbing banks. You know how Jake, when they say a nigga finna exaggerate. Yeah, that nigga done killed about 8 people this year. Jake gon', they say that boy got, but that's how they were doing your house shot. They were trying to, sum him up as just being that. But he said, but wisdom is justified of her children. And who was he growing up? The apostles. Well, they were disciples, but they, later became apostles. You see, he was duplicating himself within those men. And those men, all right, started all those churches. Like the New Testament is pretty much the Yahushua being justified, all right, by wisdom, by his children, those disciples, those apostles, his spiritual children, man. Just like today, they try to say this is and that, about the apostles, but you see the men that they've reared up in the spirit of Yahweh by Shema Shai. All right. Shows you what those men are about. You get serious, straight to the point, no gimmicks teaching, So the result, because just like a child will be, considered what your fruit, something you bring forth. So what did the scriptures say about this truth, man, and fruit? You go 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 27. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 6:27 says, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and that's what this word is doing, is overcoming lies, man. You see? And see, within the elect, because we was all brought up corrupt, but see, wisdom is making us incorruptible. You see? And the truth, which have been so long without fruit, you see, wisdom had been without fruit. It wasn't producing anything. All right. Shall be declared, but now it is. You see, now wisdom is producing fruit in the earth. And that's why you see there's more and more people, being converted to think, all right, within this wisdom. And it's not of this world. That's why, you can't merge the wisdom of this world with the wisdom, all right, from on high. Don't mix. You're going to be offended somewhere, So going back, let's get Wisdom of Solomon 8, which I ain't gonna go through the whole chapter, but just want to, clear it up about, what they're speaking about, because this society pretty much, taught us to exalt and glorify, actual women, well, ultimately this is the thing we should have been glorifying as men, and it works out, because wisdom don't just benefit men, no, it benefit the men and women of Israel. You see, we just learn, priority. And it said, this is Wisdom Solomon 8 and 7 says, and if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teaches temperance and prudence. Yeah, temperance, self-government, man. Because it's another thing, like we're learning temperance, we're learning discipline, man. All right. So when we rule, we're gonna rule, all right, with a temperance. It's not gonna be, like this society, pretty much teaches you to be out of balance, man. You know, you pretty much just go for what just do it. All right, obey the thirst. Their energy, no, it's gonna be a kingdom of temperance. Now all right, we gonna ball, you see, but it's gonna be governed by temperance and balance, man. You see, it says justice and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable. You see that? The highest form of the highest possession is the wisdom. It comes before, all right, the gold, the resources, rulership, women. Wisdom comes before those things because it teaches how to manage those things and make the most use, all right, out of those things. You know? So reading on, it probably it says if a man desire much experience, she know of things of old, you see, and all right, because hold on, let me get the phone. What's that? 8. It says, if a man desire much experience, she know of things old and conjectureth aright what is to come. Yeah, and that's through prophecy. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, yeah, the mysteries, all right, which we talked about, and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders and events of seasons and times. Yeah, see, that's what we have, to be able to look at current events in the earth and relate it to the Bible. That's a high form of wisdom. That's a high level of wisdom, man. To be able to pinpoint, all right, where we at in prophecy by watching what's going on in the earth, man, to make that connection. That's a high form of wisdom, man. And the Lord has given it to his men. You see? So there was a point, I didn't want to make it too long. I just want to, hit them points in the spirit. All right. The brother got one. This is on pray always, hope for elect. Shalom to you, Akim, wa Aquatium. This is Proverbs 24 and 3. It said, through wisdom is in house, build it, and by understanding it is established. Woo! And he said, through wisdom is in house building. What is the house that's being erected? The house of David. And see, it's being put together through wisdom. You see? And by understanding it is established, man. So this building, this house of David is being established in wisdom, understanding what the Bible is speaking of, understanding, how rulerships operate, how the earth is supposed to operate. So it's all through wisdom, and Yahushua is that standard, wisdom, amongst, all right, Israel. But yeah, that's the point. I just want to touch on that. Lord will. I said, you brothers and you few sisters were edified. Once again, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful elect. Till the next time, I say Shalom, Kwam Yashala, Abba, DTA soon.